Well done, Death Knight. The cult is nearly assembled.
Dalaran lies in ashes. What good are these cultists to us now?
Calm down, Arthas. You'll see what the undead workers are capable of. Welcome, this is Hierarch. Today we're going to find out, is it possible to beat Path of the Damned Undead campaign in Warcraft 3 Reforged with only workers, and a bit with heroes but without tower rushes instead. The rules are simple. The only units I'm allowed to build are Acolytes, Shades and Ghouls. Fallen heroes can't be revived. All static defense is allowed in defense only. Heroes can fight or travel only as a part of a ghoul squad, if my troops are able to reach them. I'm not allowed to buy any consumables from a goblin shop. No mercenaries. Goblin zeppelins are allowed to use for reaching the areas unavailable by ground. Allies are allowed to do whatever they want and play on hard difficulty. Let's get to the game. During the previous campaign, Arthas threw so much troops into slaughter that the economy and reserves of Lordaeron were depleted. The kingdom is weakened after such Pyrrhic victory, and Arthas also swapped sides, and now he is the Undead, mostly because their troops won't riot if someone will use them as a cannon fodder. But this campaign starts with a difficult mission. Trudging to the Ashes gives 2 ghouls and a Death Knight under my command. This is our old pal Arthas, who seems like was too obsessed with the Ring of Superiority because he starts at level 1 instead of 10 and lost his chaos damage while using exactly the same sword. Ghouls are the undead woodcutters, but I need acolytes to build the base, so it's time to run around the local villages. In comparison with other basic units, the ghouls have better speed, they are cheaper and pack a punch after the upgrades. And nothing of it can be used in this mission. The only thing that really helps ghouls is their ability to cannibalize, allowing them to chew a nearby corpse and restore HP. So Arthas doesn't need to patch everyone up with a death coil and can save some mana for later. And then comes the bad news. Arthas won't fight at this mission and he isn't allowed to heal his troops during the battles. Also, the main source of corpses for my ghouls are civilians, but Arthas still respects some conventions and doesn't kill non-combatants, so there is no civilian death allowed. Although these guys run to the local patrol, calling for help once they notice my forces. But this prohibition doesn't apply to cattle, so it's allowed to slaughter horses for meat. Also, the undead units are even squishier than footmen, and once a patrol detects the undead, it will chase them through half of the map. Anyway, it's a really bad idea to fight having an army like that. To defeat 2 footmen in the first village, I had to micro my units, pull back the wounded ghoul and let the eating one tank the hits. But there are some good news. I can raise more ghouls from the nearest graveyard, so I need to sneakily reach it to get some free reinforcements. And unfortunately some peasants warned the guard about my army, and now my ghouls are being chased by a knight. 2 ghouls can defeat a knight, so it's not even close. But 4 ghouls can win, and 2 toothed and clawed woodcutters joined their fellows very soon. They barely managed to take down the cavalryman, but this guy wasn't the last on this mission, because I am intended not only to find all the acolytes, but also provide them safety by eliminating all enemies on the map. And this is gonna be a slog. I had to pull enemies by 1 or 2 at a time, and if any of my units die, it's a reset, so I am also playing this mission deathless. Arthas had to drink gallons of mana potions, but even that isn't enough to patch everyone up. At least I can rely on passive regeneration, already increases speed and HP regen, and the undead heal faster on Blight, which was fortunately placed on the graveyard. The clearing is slow and methodical, interrupted by some resets, but the ghouls do their job successfully, and mostly because almost all of my enemies are melee. Almost because there is one bandit javelin man with poisoned weapon and he caused some resets a few times. 2 knights at the south became another roadblock. Unfortunately they aren't determined in chasing the undead as other human units, but I had to engage them twice. First I brute one of them and then, after healing, finished off both. But at the end, all 24 acolytes were safe and together, and 4 ghouls took down 18 footmen, 8 knights and 3 militiamen, an army which costs 10 times as my whole force. Digging up the Dead is next. Paladins, which need to be defeated, can recruit footmen only, and these guys aren't dangerous for us. After I complete the no-build segment. Now the enemy got a hero and some static defense, while to fight all this, I got a huge army of 5 ghouls, exactly one more than I had on the previous mission. Yay! While footmen aren't particularly dangerous, I still have to micro during the fights, and guard towers are already a problem. If any of my ghouls has less than half HP and he is still in melee range, he is dead. So I have to wait until Arthas patches everyone up, because there is absolutely no chance to assault the human fortification without my whole army at full HP. The real hell starts when I reach the final defense line, and the reason of it is a single cannon tower. Surely Paladin is also dangerous, but I managed to pull him to fight in the open field, where he was surrounded and executed. But I still have no idea what to do with this static defense. And the cannon tower is much stronger than any other human defensive building. It has fortified armor type, hit in an area and deals a ton of damage. These shells kill ghouls in 3 shots. Also, there are some footmen nearby and I also need to do something with them. Frontal assault had no success. My troops just managed to scratch the paint and had to retreat. Moreover, Arthas ran out of mana quickly, and now he can't properly heal his troops. And I don't have an eternity to poke this building, but it won't be needed. I remembered that there is some blight near the Kel'Thuzad's tomb to speed up my ghouls' regen. So my warriors boldly ran past the cannon tower, finished off the footmen, and then, by trial and error, they found a safe zone where the guard tower can't reach my forces. And then I used the micro trick. Turns out that the shell doesn't have the auto aim and hits an area where the target stood once this shell was released. And the AI prioritizes the most damaged enemy to hit. So one wounded ghoul kept running in front of the tower unstoppably, and the cannon couldn't hit him properly, while another ghoul was slowly destroying it. This method is kinda unsafe. At some moments the tower artillery got bored and just smashed my ghoul with a direct hit, but overall it worked. 4 remaining ghouls leveled the rest of the enemy base, and the next stage of this mission started. And actually the rest of this level is really easy. I picked Pendant of Energy from a golem south of my base. This guy almost clapped a lot of units, but then at the last moment he ran out of mana and I got my trophy. This item is going to be really useful anyway. I'll have to spam Death Coil a lot. Then my workers chopped some trees, ate a few Sasquatches and finally attacked the Paladin base. These heroes specialize on destruction of the undead, but it doesn't mean they can't be overwhelmed by my ghouls. Also, I discovered the secret location, and meanwhile, even the Uther wasn't particularly dangerous. Whatever amount of ghouls he destroyed, there still was another line around him and his troops. Arthas picks the urn and executes his mentor during the cutscene, marking the moment where he is finally allowed to hit enemies. Just to spite Uther, during the next mission Arthas won't cast his spells in combat. But at least he completed the quest how to auto-attack, and the journey into the Realm Eternal starts from the same frame up as the 5th mission of the previous campaign. I got a lot of units, including necromancers and meat wagons, who instantly started attacking the High Elf base. After falling back with my whole army before these extra units kill somebody, I ruined the Elven base with Arthas and initial ghouls. Meat wagons attacked just once and hit some farms before I got control, but as at the last time I encountered such roadblock, I'm going to beat 99.9% of this mission with only workers. And the rest of the mission is actually awesome. After reaching 50 supply quite quickly, the undead chopped down some trees, got to the neutral gnolls, smashed them and then invaded the elven outpost. And I destroyed the next elven base almost without a break. And each of these bases has a gold mine. And all units I'm allowed to build cost gold only, so I got an insane economy at my disposal. I built 6 crypts, reached the supply limit and broke into the enemy base. And this battle was awesome. The undead overwhelmed any enemy, priests, sorceresses, towers, ballistas. Nothing helped them. Just only once, on the bridge, Sylvanas' squad managed to take down a somewhat impressive number of ghouls. And after clearing the path, my woodcutters got to another neutrals and overwhelmed them too. I even added another passage to my main to make my reinforcements arrive to the front faster, and then Sylvanas used it to attack my main base directly. I lost my Hall of the Dead and got supply blocked, but it didn't stop the undead wave. Once a ghoul was destroyed, another took his place. And then the only remaining enemy on the map is the elven base near the first gates. Their mages already hit their highest rank, but it doesn't matter at all. I hit the train ghoul button to the metal and enjoy the view of my infinite army leveling the enemy base to the ground. It's an awesome mission and I need to enjoy that moment. It will never happen again. During the next mission, the important events start right from the intro cutscene. First, Arthas finally learned how to use Death Coil in combat. Second, Sylvanas destroyed the bridge, and to get to the next gate, I'll need Key of the 3 Moons, which is kept on 3 elven bases. For now, I decided to limit the usage of Arthas' abilities with just a Death Coil to heal my units in combat. It changes the mission significantly, because now I can't just claim my starting point and reach the Goblin Lab. The reason is one exact unit, which will become my personal nightmare for this mission: Dragonhawk Riders. They are durable, hit hard, especially on ghouls, and AI loves to build big squads of these guys, just like if this mission wanted me to give a unit able to bring flyers to the ground. Anyway, now I have only 2 ways to hit air: Spirit Towers and Halls of the Dead. I built and upgraded my base, started chopping lumber, and pulled the Dragonhawks to hit my main building. Well, at least I'm finally able to claim the first gold mine. And during the practice run I made a few months ago, I found out that this mine doesn't have a lot of resources. And then, at mission 4, I want to tell about one little buff which helped me here a lot. Ghouls now cost 120 gold, not 140 as it was in Reign of Chaos, and this 20 gold really rule when every my coin counts. I reached 50 supply and stopped building units, just kept banking money. From time to time the enemy will drop an attack wave near my base, but they don't really make much progress. And speaking of drops, my base is also on an island, and I can't reach the elves by ground. None of them are available for me because Sylvanas destroyed the only bridge. So why not to build another one? Before the decisive assault, I ordered the Acolyte to repair the bridge. The process isn't fast or cheap, but nothing and nobody must distract my workers, otherwise he'll have to restart the construction project from the very beginning. Once the bridge is done and my gold mine collapsed, I made a maxed out army of ghouls and rolled into the elven base. There is no chance for the lesser army to succeed, and things went pretty smooth. I managed to destroy all of the enemy production, leaving only some Dragonhawks. And I can't claim the gold mine because of these guys. Cool. So I had to pull them on my static defense, and only after that I finally managed to expand on Sylvanas' gold mine, which has money for just one more undead wall. The enemy still has 2 more bases, one small outpost to the east and the main base to the north, where Dragonhawk attack waves come from. And I'm not a fan of a base race on resource-starved maps, so I just sent my army to the center using a waygate to find out that there are more Dragonhawks defending another gold mine. Well, it's time to chop some more lumber. This island has lots of trees. Also, I made a defensive line against the Dragonhawk attacks because I'm going to inhabitate this island completely. And now the mine finally has enough gold and I am able to get some good economy. Then I attacked the eastern outpost, which was also guarded by some more Dragonhawks, but at least I managed to tank their hits with my ghouls while building my static defense. Now I have 2 parts of the key, one from Sylvanas' base and one from this eastern outpost. And finally, my acolytes are able to gather gold from 2 mines at once. So it's time to attack the final Elven base to the north. I waited for the Dragonhawk attack wave and finally hit their buildings. The first wave was crushed, but managed to destroy their key structures. The enemy doesn't have production anymore. After waiting for the next Dragonhawk attack on my base, I sent another ghoul squad to finish off the remaining buildings. Now, when the elves are crushed and all parts of the key are mine, there is only one problem remaining. I have to open the gate with this key and I can't reach it by ground. So I had to load my ghoul into the zeppelins and drop on another bank. They smashed the rest of the defenders except for 4 Dragonhawks. I need to eliminate them to win, and this mission already took almost 2 hours, so I broke my own rule and allowed Arthas to kill these flyers with death coils. An usually simple mission turned into a nightmare. I hope this is the last time the enemy will throw so powerful air units at me, right? Fall of Silvermoon was reforged, and now this is the most bugged mission in all of Warcraft 3. But for now, I need to get rid of Sylvanas, who actually hit really early. I didn't even manage to get rid of my useless starting units. But my initial ghouls and spirit towers were enough to repel her attack, so the next stage of this mission starts. From now on, Sylvanas sends runners in Silvermoon to warn them about the incoming attack, and I got some gargoyles to intercept them. But because gargoyles aren't ghouls, I hid them at my base and took down with my spirit towers. Meanwhile, a ghoul squad led by Arthas intercepted the runner themselves. And then I met the first bug. While chasing the runner, I hit some triggers, and Sylvanas arrives at the outskirts of Silvermoon and she does nothing. All attacks from her base stopped, but she keeps sending runners, and some of them try to reach the city by water. But there are some fords on the way where ghouls are able to jump up and chew on the ship. And from time to time, a buggy archmage attacks my base. For some reason, in Russian version, the only redubbed Warcraft 3 Reforged edition, his name consists of a text tooltip for swordsmen and militia attack upgrades. The funniest thing is that there are 2 archmages, and the weaker one is called as a tooltip for +1 upgrade, and the stronger archmage was named as a tooltip for +2. I didn't even attack the enemy base and the mission is already turned into a circus. Anyway, I finally mustered my army and leveled the Sylvanas' base, because I have money for only one such force. And I finally got access to the upgrade, increasing my ghouls' move and attack speed, making them a really efficient combat force. They are still really squishy, but it's not a big of a problem. After eliminating Sylvanas' base and taking her down near the gates of Silvermoon, Arthas turned her into a Banshee hero, and she is able to hit air. Finally, I can attack flyers outside of my base. The damage is actually pathetic, but 30 is more than 0, so I won't complain. And I got Sylvanas right in time because the Silvermoon garrison started to send Dragonhawks to attack me. They aren't as many as on the previous mission, but they still act as a thorn in my side. And by the way, Arthas still respects the laws of war and doesn't touch the neutral farms and civilians, even when they clump near the only gates to the city, and doesn't let my troops get through it properly. The city itself is an almost linear corridor with some secret locations behind the trees. The enemies are mostly archmages with some support squads, but these heroes are squishy and I took them down, ignoring the losses from Blizzard. On the way to the city center, I destroyed the final Elven base and finally met the Silvermoon rulers, Anasterian Sunstrider and Thalorian Dawnseeker, who quickly teleported on the island. Arthas summoned an ice bridge somehow, too bad he couldn't do it at the previous mission because it wasn't reforged, and the final battle begins. Whatever abilities these Elven rulers have, they are helpless against the hordes of ghouls, and then this buggy mess is finally over. But at least this mission turned into a joke by all means. Thanks, Reforged. Black Rock and Roll 2 is a mission which I knew will be hard. And it is, mostly because of another balanced port from TFT. I also got a new hero, a Lich Kel'Thuzad, whose task is to buff everyone with Frost armor and to hit flyers with approximately the same DPS as Sylvanas on the previous mission. Meanwhile, my base is surrounded by the Warcraft 2 orcs. They have quite strong melee units, but these units attack in some small groups, so it's easy to surround and overwhelm them. And the same story with the troll axe throwers. Demolishers and goblin sappers cause more problems because they clean up my buildings really quickly, but because the enemy attack waves don't have a proper barrier between the orc good units and my units, I can easily focus the demolishers and tank the sappers with my troops, because for some reason they one-shot a spirit tower, but at the same moment are unable to kill a ghoul. The true nightmare of this mission didn't fall upon me yet, but once it appears, it will be much harder for me to act. So instead of building up an army and a decisive counter-attack, I need to act quickly. I got some quick free upgrades for my woodcutters and instantly rushed to the orcs' blue base at the southwest. And there I wanna say 1000 thanks to Blizzard for making this mission the only Undead vs Orcs battle in the entire game. The reason is the one single upgrade for the orcish buildings: spiked barricades. Because all of my army except for level 5 Lich is melee, I received more damage while hitting the orcish buildings than from any other base defender. The blue player also lacks big unit numbers, but once my ghouls started taking buildings, they almost died in process. At least I have 2 gold mines now, and after a quick regroup, I leveled the brown enemy base too. My next goal is to get rid of the southeastern orc base because it sends goblin sappers and I already got tired of them. They have a level 6 hero and much more buildings, so I had to get my death ball at full force and support it with some reinforcements from the base, but at the end these orcs were crushed and I managed to do it right in time because the red base woke up and started attacking me. Most of their units aren't particularly dangerous except for the one single unit, which puts even the frost worms to the shame, and I don't think there is anybody in all of the campaigns which is able to surpass them. Say hello to a red dragon. Those reptiles were buffed in the Frozen Throne expansion, and when in the original campaign they were reasonably stronger than the frostworms, in Reforged they have 2200 health, more than a Black Citadel, deal more damage than a Black Citadel, hit in an area, deal chaos damage, immune to magic because why not, able to devour units, and most important, they fly. And by the way, they attack my base by 2 each time. I have to throw a large group of acolytes on the repair duty once these monsters arrive. And outside of my base, the only unit able to hit them is Kel'Thuzad, who needs a ton of death coils to survive the dragon attacks. Finally, after repelling the red attack, I destroyed the orange base, and now only one orc player remains. During the practice run, I quickly found out that while the enemy has dragons, any frontal assault is absolutely senseless, and even a maxed out army of ghouls is unable to reach the dragon roost and deal enough damage to destroy it. Animate dead, which raises up to 6 corpses as some invulnerable units with timed life and no abilities. And because I can't control whom to raise, it means that most of the time this ultimate is useless. And I got in the previous mission, used it and had to pull non-ghouls away from the battlefield. But I got an idea how to make this ability useful. I built 2 graveyards near the entrance to the red base, and after 6 ghoul corpses appeared, Arthas finally activated his ultimate ability. This ghoul's lifetime is less than a minute, but it should be enough. Ghouls reached the dragon roost quickly, but didn't manage to destroy it in time. The AI knows how to repair, which means that Arthas, his ultimate, was useless this time too. Almost. I can either wait for its cooldown with the perspective of another dragon attack with some serious losses, or make the Knight's move. I gathered all of my 80 supply army and ran past the defenders to take down the roost. 30 supply was lost in 20 seconds, but the remaining ghouls did their job. The roost has fallen, so as did my whole army except for heroes who fled at the beginning. and the horde instantly counterattacked, sending the dragons to destroy my base. And I have no army, so heroes had to wait for reinforcements before engaging, while the dragons were burning down my halls of the dead and my acolytes too. But these were the last on the map. No more dragon attacks. After adding 2 extra crypts, I mastered another ghoul army and attacked the red base again. Turns out, without the dragons, they aren't particularly dangerous, and even a level 10 Blade Master was overwhelmed after taking down some of my troops with his ultimate ability. I suffered some losses during the base destruction, but it doesn't matter, because the Black Rock clan is defeated and I'm finally able to relax. No more overpowered flowers until the end of the campaign. When I was beating the siege of Dalaran during the practice run in the original Warcraft 3, it was miserable. I had to invest a ton of resources to defend every gold mine. I had to make precision strikes with ghouls running into huge areas of a map to take down the mages, and suffer from a constant attacks of Griffin Riders. But the reforged team arrived and turned it into the best and the easiest of their remade missions. I have a handful of units at the beginning. Almost all of them are neither ghouls nor acolytes, but then, after building up some ghouls, I took down the first archmage and invaded the city. And then, while having just 50 supply army, I managed to clean most of them up with minimal losses. These wizards use a lot of different spells, but each of them drops a healing rune, so I can just throw ghouls into a problem. The second archmage was the first tough fight in this mission, mostly because I hit him with the same small army. I managed to get rid of the enemy hero, but his adds almost crushed my remaining forces, so before the battle with the third archmage, I used Scroll of the Beast to take down the enemy hero ASAP. Now only Antonidas remains, and I hope this Dalaran archmage will put up a fight. This time I barely break a sweat, just mined out the entire map as a tradition. Turns out I was right when I used another Scroll of the Beast before the battle. Antonidas summoned a lot of elementals and golems which seriously damaged my army, and almost all of my units are looking really bruised now. But this scroll turned defeat into victory, because I was able to deal enough damage to survive. We're in the end game now, and there's just one mission remaining, the one that I've been dreading. Under the Burning Sky is one of those levels in Warcraft 3 that I hate even in normal playthrough. On paper, the mission is simple: defend Kel'Thuzad for half an hour while he is busy summoning the Demon Lord. But in reality, I was suffering at this mission during the practice run and reforged but the enemies, especially the final wave, and now all 3 AI players attack with literally everything able to move, including the workers. To help me with repelling the attacks, I got some demons every 5 minutes. But because they aren't heroes and unable to gather resources, I just hit them in a corner. Meanwhile, the AI attacks from 3 sides. Siege engines strike from the west. They are really durable and have a powerful anti-building attack. Griffin Riders strike from the north. They fly and have a splash damage. And from the east, an all-round army led by the Archmage attacks me constantly. At the beginning of the mission, both Griffin Riders and Siege Engines waves decided to attack at the same direction, and they won't stop until the end of this mission. It's an insane combo, because Siege Engines destroy my static defense, and the only way to fight flyers is static defense. Also, I can cheese the enemy base with planting the goblin landmines near their castle to take it down and turn off his tier 3 unit production and ability to build or repair. To win, I'll have to use all of my assets, including the landmines which I placed around the Lich, and Arthas is also finally allowed to hit enemies with Death Coil and use any units raised by his ultimate. So, how long did it take to beat the mission? 50 minutes. Even one successful attempt to beat the first mission took more of my time. And speaking of abilities, I used Animate Dead just a couple times and still threw Death Coils at my units much more than at the enemies. So how did I manage to improve so much? I just brought some StarCraft 2 into Warcraft 3 meta. instantly claiming an expansion, building Halls of the Dead on each direction, with 4 or 5 acolytes to repair, throwing some spirit towers into the mix, and spamming ghouls from 3 crypts. So I'm maxed out at the 15-minute mark, my troops have plus 3 attack and armor bows, and I invaded the humans' eastern base. Not because I wanted to weaken the enemy before the final fight, but mostly because I was bored. I quickly found out that with the forces I have there is a chance to claim the eastern castle after repelling their counterattack, and I just managed to ruin their main building and eliminate all of the enemy peasants, so this eastern base won't be able to produce knights anymore. This made all of the future enemy attacks from this side significantly weaker, but my whole army is dead. And I don't care. I mastered another Undead wall quickly and finished off the hero altar with animate death after another attack wave. All of my forces were protecting the northern direction, everything was going great, until the final attack wave arrived. The eastern base is already weakened. The main source of danger comes from the north. About 15 griffins attacked Kel'Thuzad directly, ignoring my buildings, and Arthas got really busy by healing his fellow with death coils. I can't beat this army, but I don't need to. My ghoul force bought just enough time for Kel'Thuzad to finish the ritual. After his arrival, Archimonde instantly criticized Arthas' inventions in the military science and designated the new commanders, Dreadlords. So I'd like to see this Lich helping to destroy the enemy base instead of summoning a Demon Lord. With Kel'Thuzad's help I could clear the entire map in about 40 minutes or so. And whatever Archimonde thinks, I managed to beat the whole Undead campaign with only workers. Thanks Kel'Thuzad. Thanks for watching. If the previous campaign was difficult in the middle and closer to the end, then with the Undead everything turned upside down. The hardest challenge was at the beginning. The next step is 2 for 1 or campaign. For the grunts only challenge I'll have to rewind time a bit and complete the prologue before starting the invasion of Kalimdor. But that's all for now. Hierarch out.